morning.
What has gone wrong for Cam and the Patriots?
I think it's a couple different things. I think starting with Cam, to me, just don't look healthy. And I think since recovering from the COVID, I think it's really plagued, his body, his system is not fully functioning as it looks right now. And, Cam has always been a guy known to bring the energy, known to bring, life into the team. And, when you got guys looking at Cam and he's not looking, up to par, Cam's looking, kind of like lost and out of it, then they start to get worried in terms of what's going on as well. So, I think starting with Cam, and his energy not being there, that's taking an effect on this team. And then you look around and you just don't see any offensive weapons. I mean, we try to put it on Cam. We expect Cam to play hero and play Superman, but you look around and the talent around him is just not there as well. So, I've been looking for the guys that can possibly step up. N'Keal Harry, Demir Bird, who's going to step up and help Cam out. The running game is not sustainable right now. They can't finish drives. And everybody kind of just looks out of it. They look like they're waiting for somebody to step up and create a spark for this team. And, when you think about it, it's the reason that Tom Brady left. I mean, when you step back and peel back all the layers, it's just not, it's just not a winning formula there right now in terms of, having the right players and the scheme. Early in the season, the scheme was there and they was moving the ball and making plays, but I think it died out. And what defensive coordinators do, they go at the things that you do well and the things that you do best, and they've taken that away. And now, going into, the second half of the season, you got to revamp the offense and you got to make it look different, and you got to find, out what really works, because, everything else has been stymied. So, it all starts with Cam energy. Everybody feeds off that. And then guys got to step up and make plays for this New England Patriots team, where it's going to be a tough, rest of the season for this team.
I agree with just about everything that you said. That Cam has not looked the same since he got that he suffered from COVID. 0 touchdown passes, 5 interceptions in the last 2 games. Tom Brady's not walking through that door. But if I tell you, Mike, if I said, okay, Team A had only 6 third-down attempts. Team A also lost the time of possession battle by over 17 minutes, and they turned the ball over 3 times. You were like, they got blown out. And that's exactly what happened. Yeah. The only reason that it wasn't worse is that Jimmy G was turning it right back over to them.
2 interceptions, yep.
So had Jimmy G not turned it over, you're probably talking about a 50-to-something ball game, Skip.
Mm-hmm.
And as you say, everybody's looking around for somebody to make a play. They don't have anybody. They have to scheme. They got to pick, they got to rub, they got to hide, they got to throw over here, and then you got to run down the field, and then he go throw it over there. They don't have anybody that can say, okay, son, just go get open. They don't have anybody like that. They haven't had someone like that in a very long time. All they're doing by New England looking like they're looking currently, Tom Brady, if you could imagine, Tom Brady is bigger than Mount Everest. Because they say, hold on, Tom, you was going to Super Bowl with that? You won 12 games with that? Skip just told me they're going to be lucky to win 5 or 6 games. And Tom Brady with that same... Total.
Yeah.
Tom Brady won 12 games with that team, with that same offense. That same offense last year. Man, they look bad. They look really, really, really bad. And Tom, I don't know why you was kicking and screaming. I don't even know why you had a conversation with Mr. Kraft. You knew what was in that locker room. And the fact that you still wanted to go back shows just how loyal you were to Mr. Kraft. But you made absolutely the right decision, because this team is bad. Julian Edelman, Skip, I understand that no offseason and you didn't get a chance to work or anything like that. But he and Cam really have no rapport. I mean, on the interception, it was like Cam was expecting him to stay there, and then he stayed there, and then he took off again, and then, bloop. They look bad. They look like one of the worst teams in the NFL.
So, somewhere last night, Tom Brady was shaking his head, maybe on the team plane going home, and empathizing with Cam Newton, thinking, I know exactly what he is feeling. Remember, Tom was caught on the bench last year. I believe it was at Houston, yelling up and down the bench. Somebody separate.
Right.
Pro Football Focus ranked the Patriot receivers last year dead last in separation. Nobody can get open because they're just not very good. And once Julian Edelman hit the physical wall, where he just became this broken down, beat up shell of himself, then he was your go-to. And remember, he led the league in drops last year to Julian Edelman.
Well, they're ranked behind Alabama and Ohio State receivers in separation this year.
That is correct. 35th.
Oh,
you'd make that in a heartbeat, especially the Alabama receivers. Yeah. Lord have mercy. So, to your point, Michael, about COVID, they said Cam was asymptomatic, but he just doesn't look right.
Doesn't.
He looks like he lost his spark, because he said last night after the game, I'm just not being me. Well, he's not. Because he was a joy to watch. He took over the franchise for about 3 weeks. Mm-hmm. And it was like happy days are here again. And that night at Seattle, Cam Newton played a spectacular game.
Did.
Remember that?
He did.
Threw for 300 plus, and it comes to down to the last play of the game, and they kind of guessed wrong on what they called, and Cam said, I should have bounced it. Remember that?
Right. Yep.
Well, you came within that of beating Seattle at Seattle,
correct.
Right?
Yep.
And now this. Well, slowly but surely, you just get exposed because your receivers get exposed.
Right.
They can't. Yesterday, he threw 6 balls. The most targets went to Jacoby Myers. He's a second-year kid, undrafted out of North Carolina State. What do you think's going to happen?
He was a quarterback, too, I think.
Yeah, okay.
Knowing what I know, you got no guys that can separate. I'm stopping your run.
Yeah.
I'm selling out to stop the run.
Become one-dimensional.
Yes.
Which is what they did. So yesterday, Edelman catches 1 ball, and a man I loved, a young man, N'Keal Harry. I thought he was going to be great coming out of Arizona. I don't know what's happened. He's not taking off.
Nope.
He caught 1 ball for 6 yards, and James White, who was always the safety valve for Brady, the clutch receiver, he got 1 ball for 3 yards, and Cam's going to have a long day. And Michael, I wanted to ask you about one quick thing. Cam used to have a bad habit in his first couple of years where as he throws, he would duck his head down. Yeah. Watch him now. It's come back. It's like he's throwing and he just ducks hard left and puts his chin down to his chest. It's a bad habit he needs to get out of because it pulls his throws a little bit off target. And he was a little bit off target yesterday, and you can't be with these receivers because the window is going to be
Well, you basically
tight.
need to hand it to him.
Yeah. Go ahead, Michael.
And Cam, in the passing game, I noticed, and I've always watched him closely. I watch a lot of quarterbacks closely in their delivery and timing and throws. And the ball has just been dying out. It comes out with velocity, but a lot of good balls on the ground. And I don't know if that's being indecisive in his decision-making, which can lead to, low errant throws. But it's too many throws where the ball is hitting the ground before it even touched the receiver's hands. And that could be from indecisiveness or, maybe something
throwing
lingering.
Off his back foot.
Throwing off the back foot. It's a part of the problem. And, when you come out in the beginning of the season, week 1, week 2, week 3, when teams don't have a beat or can't get a jump on what you're doing, it's easy to jump out on them and it's easy to look good and impress. But as teams start to game plan and watch you and look at your tendencies and what you do, it becomes tougher and tougher. And I think that's why Cam is really, conveying that, he's not being himself. He has to get back to playing, like himself. And that's because, it's more pressure now. It's a little more pressure to win. And when you lose games, you start pressing a little more. And, just the anxiety that comes along with playing the quarterback position is now present for Cam. So he has to fight through it.
Well, he says he's not being himself. You need to go to Josh McDaniels and Coach Belichick and says, Coach, this is what I feel most comfortable in. These are the sets. These are the plays. These are the formations. Go with that. I mean, them putting all that other stuff, you got to get to whatever's going to make him most comfortable because he says, I'm just not myself.
Yep.
Well, in order for them to have a chance, Cam needs to be his own self. And the defense is going to have to play better. I don't even recognize this defense, Skip. I mean, to give up, First of all, that's the backup to the backup to the backup because Tevin Coleman could be in there, Mostert could be in there.
Yep.
The backup got hurt. Jarris McKinnon is hurt. So, Skip, they 5 deep into the running back, and they go for 5. They go for almost 200.
They went from Jeff Wilson to Hasty, and both of them were just gashing. They were both getting 6 yards a carry.
Yeah.
How you go to you on your 4th or 5th running back, and he's running the ball like he Derrick Henry.
So there was a report last night that Belichick at the trade deadline will go get a top wide receiver. Well, last year he spent a 2nd-round pick to get Mohamed Sanu, who comes to New England and looks like he can't run.
Who?
Come on.
Who
are you going to get?
Who that? Oh, you going to make a trade for Michael Thomas? I mean, you keep hearing that name being floated out there, Skip. But I don't know who they can get that can change this around at this juncture.
Yeah.
Basically, you got to strip this down.
Shannon hit it on the head. I think Shannon hit it on the head. It's more so about scheme now and not personnel. It's how can you outsmart and play chess and win the chess match against the defense now. It's no longer about, the personnel. It's about just putting guys in the right position to succeed. And it's easier said than done, but something has to happen in terms of how they, go at the defense.
Yeah, and remember, the greater Brady plays in Tampa, the greater the pressure on Cam to fill those cleats in New England. That's hard, man.
Yeah, Skip. He watching Teddy B in Carolina, where he just left.
Yep.
So he getting it on both ends.
Yeah.
Teddy B lighted up one place, Tom lighted up in another place, and he stuck with this. He's like, all y'all got better. What did I got?
And Cam's on a 1-year deal, so
Yes.
this is super paramount right now in terms of what happens in his future moving forward.
Tough to compare Cam versus Tom right now. Mike, do stick around. I'd like to ask you this. What impact will Antonio Brown have in Tampa and how he will help Tom and those Bucs? That is next.